Hey everybody, I'm live. Show. Okay. So I'm trying out the YouTube app, the capture on YouTube on my phone, so I might be able to see comments. We'll find out. Camera around here. Okay. Showing chat. Okay, so if you are there, hey, look at that Doom fella. Smoking a rock of that comic crack, right on. So I can see comments. Look at that. That's incredible. So tonight, I just got back from doing my radio show. I've got a weekly show on the university station here, UMFM 101.5. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of nice to just sit and be in the radio station at the university where it's really quiet. Blast some music in the sound booth there. It's a lot of good times. Um, Wanted to talk a little bit about these books and then talk about a little bit of a haul that I got today. I read Doll 2 and 3 last night. 3 is the last issue in this little bit of an introduction arc before he kind of continues on. On the inside cover, he talks about how it takes a lot out of him. It takes a lot away from doing the other things he likes, which is painting mainly, is what he talks about. So even at this point, even though the sales were doing well, he wanted people to kind of write in to see if people wanted more of this story. So I guess he never really intended it to go. I think it went 8 issues total. So that's kind of interesting. And then he's also looking for stories at the time of anybody has stories about. I don't know if it's personal experience, maybe with like a sex doll or whatever. Remembering this is kind of mid 80s, late 80s is when this came out. So it wasn't exactly a prolific thing like it is now. You know, there's a number of companies. I think that Real Doll is the big one. They had a documentary on them when I lived in Ontario, and it was fascinating, actually. Creepy and fascinating, especially walking through the warehouse and just seeing various body parts kind of hung up, getting ready to be assembled. Very strange. I overall I really liked it. I'm partial because I love Guy Caldwell, so he can really pretty much do no harm. I do think that 3 issues maybe milked it a little too much. It could have been kind of tightened up to a solid 2. This 3rd issue kind of meanders a little bit with just kind of this continual heist trying to go on as people steal the doll from one another, and it kind of keeps getting farther away. I guess it does kind of emphasize the instant attraction that people have for this inanimate woman, basically, this artificial woman, because everybody who sees her kind of wants to steal her and, of course, wants to have sex with her and stuff. So it's, a little bit of that commentary goes a long way. I do get the point. It just seemed that maybe it could have been 2 issues. So I'm not totally hesitant to go into the rest of the comics, but I have to admit I am a little bit. I just don't want it to be 8 issues of retreading the same territory. Um, this other main character who the doll was created for, his storyline was pretty good. I like the way that it wrapped up in the 3rd issue, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll dig into the other ones, and hopefully it kind of gives you something extra. The other thing I finished last night was the first 5 issues, this first kind of chapter, I guess, of the ESPers. From Eclipse, originally 4 issues. From the little bit of research I did, this James D. Hudnall, this is the first thing he ever wrote for comics. And I find that really interesting, and you can really see it pick up as it goes through the issues. 1 and 2 are great, but as it gets to especially kind of 4 and 5, 5 was an incredible issue. You can really just see it sink in, and he really tightens everything up even more and kind of steps up his game in this one, I thought. Um, I really liked it, actually. It kind of lived up to the hype, as I said when I first picked these books up the other night. It's just one of those books that I've heard a lot about, and just heard that it's incredible and really give it a chance. Honestly, and I mean, Sleepy Reader commented on it as well, and I think I did in the video as well. It's not that this art is horrible. It's just, I don't know, the interior art is just okay. Like, I got used to it for sure, and it kind of had its own charm after a while, especially with the color and the saturation of color. And it turns out in one of the later issues they talk in kind of the back matter of that they had some problems with the printer. They were going to be switching printers. They were going to be switching paper stock because they weren't even happy with the way the colors were coming out. So at least there was some acknowledgement from them on that side of things. Do you ever see that these days? People kind of acknowledging the flaws that they maybe had with their product? Not sure if you do. So the backup, that kind of stuff is really great, just getting into the creative side. And of course, as I've talked about before with Eclipse Comics, Catherine Ironwood does the little kind of commentary on the inside front cover. And that's always interesting to me because, again, following this company through their trials and tribulations, when we last left Eclipse, when I talked about this previous, I think their offices had just been flooded and they were in the process of moving away. Strangely enough, in I think issue number 2, she comments on, "We're now fully moved into our new office. We've hired some new staff. This is the goings on around the office." So it feels like after all these months I've picked up, maybe in a similar passage of time from when it originally happened. So that was kind of neat. The other thing that he does in the back of these with the back matter is he has a little bit of prose story, 2 or 3 pages, and each one focuses on a different main character. So instead of kind of taking up some issues where we do a flashback and talk about where these people came from, you just get a nice little story of a moment in their life before they kind of came together as a group. The group, in case it's not obvious, they all have some form of telepathy or some power, basically. Psychic type abilities. And the main character, her father has been kidnapped, so she wants to form a group. Her special ability is she can kind of transmit herself through electronics, so she can kind of dig her way into the databases of the government, which is how she found out about the rest of the ESPers, because there was a file on them. I've totally lost my thread, I'm sorry. So instead of taking up time with a story to kind of flash back where they came from, you just get the nice tight story here with that as an alternate if you want to read it at the back of the book. So the first 4 issues had David Lloyd on art, and when they first came up with the idea, when James came up with the idea, he managed to get David Lloyd just for a short term, which is why it was supposed to be originally just a 4-part miniseries, partially due to him being a new writer, partially due to it's a brand new story, let's give it a shot. But also that's the deal that he made with him. He was only able to sign David for 4 issues. At the end of the 4th issue, he talks about the transition in artists and kind of explains the story a little, and David was taking off to finish up V for Vendetta with Alan Moore at the time. So kind of nice, again, to put it into context with some of this back matter. And then they got this gentleman, John Burns, from the UK, not the John Byrne you're thinking of, to fill in on this issue, and holy shit. The next in line, I think, are the Epic Comics run. I think that's the next chronologically. I really hope that he is in the next issues. His art is unbelievable in this book. You can get a sense of it there from the front cover. I don't know, should I attempt? There was a little bit of a Bill Sienkiewicz kind of feel to it, not in so much his more out there crazy work I don't know, there was something about it. Oh, Rasa, good morning. How are you doing? There was something about it that reminded me of Sienkiewicz a little bit. I don't know if it was the colors as well. It kind of has that Epic Comics, Marvel Epic Comics feel to it, a little, which I guess maybe sometimes for me translates into a more of a European kind of feel. But the art is so incredible in this one, and like I said, at this point with his writing, he really just ramps it up in this story. Now that we've kind of met the characters, finished off that piece, he's going full bore, and the colorist is incredible. I think they changed to this. Is it Baxter paper? Is that what the big one was at the time? And you do notice the difference. Yeah, I kind of really love this book. I'm surprised at how much. Once I got into it, it was an easy read. And again, considering it's his first outing writing comics, that's a pretty fucking impressive start. That said, I know that this is coming, and it just doesn't appeal to me. This Horn, Greg Horn, is that his name? I know that he takes over the Image, but I'll show you in a minute. He's also in another one of the arcs, and even flipping through those issues, man oh man, that art is really going to be tough. It's going to be a tough slog, because it's just not that good, to be totally blunt. But again, I'm into the story, so I'm willing to give it a shot. Okay, so today, when in doubt, go to Red River Bookshop. The guy's got everything. I've talked about it many times before. His back issue bins are always a treasure trove. And I managed to pull some things from the bins that, I don't know, that I'm pretty excited about. A lot of these were $1, $2, $3. Everything was pretty cheap except for the magazines, but they were only $5. That could be Rasa. Sorry for the pause there. I was just reading the comment. That could be the one. I think, like I said, I think it started out with Eclipse, then it went to Epic, then it went to a company called Halloween, I think, which I think was the writer's self-publication, so I think that might have been his publishing company, and then it went to the Image series, and I think the Image series was, is it 8 issues? I'm not sure how much the third series is, or the Epic, to be honest. I did read kind of the Wikipedia page about it, but nothing has stuck when it comes to that sort of thing. So this I picked up purely for the cover and because it was $1. The other thing that ended up happening in the chat or in the comments, 64-page special was saying the same thing, that just the difficulty in buying comics when they're not priced, and how easy it is to take chances when you see that it's $1, for example. This art really just reminded me of 2000 AD. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I didn't look through it at the time. It was cheap. Since I got back, I kind of did a little bit of research. Apparently it's a really hit and miss issue, trying to be kind of a science fiction anthology, but never really hitting the mark. I see Elaine Lee's name inside as well for, was it for the cover list? The colorist on the cover. That's what I'm trying to say. The Uncanny Kyle Walker, hello, how are you? Worth it for the cover. We'll see what it's like inside there. Surprise, surprise. Like I said, when in doubt, go to Red River Bookshop. He has everything. Blue Comet, the books that I was looking for, from the company I was looking for, he had a couple of books. This was one of them. Outlaw Overdrive featuring Death Row, and I think at this point this gets into the 90s, and this is near the end of everything that they published. And I have to say, just even flipping through this, I like the early stuff better. This is just, for me, it's just the bad 90s kind of stuff. There's no, what I liked about Blue Comet was Storman or Stroman. I never remember if it's Storman or Stroman. I really like his kind of outsider art aesthetic to his books, but this one, whoever is doing it, I think maybe Storman is doing inking on the inside. His name is also on the front cover here too. I know that for a bunch of the books he ended up just doing the inking, and he really brings his kind of unique style to stuff. But at this point, the onions, the uh, the 90s. I'm sorry. The 90s have everybody full on by the balls, and it's just grisly. It's a grisly affair. Another Elric book from the Sailor on the Sea of Fate. I think I only need issue 1 now to finish off this 7-issue run from First Comics. P. Craig Russell. I mean, this particular one is Roy Thomas, Michael T. Gilbert, and George Freeman. But P. Craig Russell did some Elric as well, and one that's coming up right now. And his art is just incredible. I can't remember what the book was for. Maybe Rasa, if you're still here, it might have been you talking to Sleepy Reader about it, or him to you. Was there a P. Craig Russell art-sized edition book coming out or something? Dark Horse, I didn't realize, did an Elric series as well, so this is number 3. It was the only issue that he had. You're saying yes, it was. Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that he had a Dark Horse run. This was unfortunately the only issue that was in the bins, but the interiors are beautiful. And one of the other ones from the 90s era of Blue Comet. Again, once I get in that completist kind of mode, I can't resist, especially when they're $1. It's just more 90s stuff, but important for the collector in me. And then I found 6. That's that one. Okay, so then I found issue 6 and 7 from the Image ESPers. Yeah, unreal. And again, Greg Horn on the interiors on this, and these are the ones that I flipped through and am kind of dreading getting to that point. I hope the story still keeps me. So this is the other company I was talking about, Halloween Comics, and I'm not sure how many issues were in this series, and it is Greg Horn again. But this is issue 1 and 3 from the Halloween Comics run, or chapter, whatever you want to call it. And excitingly enough, I don't remember if this is the whole pile or not, but we'll just go for it. Quite a few Ms. Tree books. And Rasa, if you're still there, I pulled out, I have a bunch of doubles. They're sitting on a pile that I'm going to send you. Some doubles of the early Ms. Tree stuff. So I'm really excited to get into this. In this era, these later issues, they do this amazing kind of just choose one color for an issue. So it's mostly black and white, and I think this one is just red. There's one that's kind of like this mint green. There's an issue where it's this blue. Really, really incredible. It really gives this really just cool visual. Issue number 30 of Mystery. Issue number 29 of Mystery. Issue number 18. Issue number 17. Great cover there. Love it. And issue number 11. Issue number 10. This one I'm not sure if I already have. I haven't compared these to my kind of collection already. A little 3-issue limited series. This Michael Mauser, I think, had a one-shot for First Comics as well. So pairing them up, I've never read it. I don't think I've seen it around anywhere. I'm going to have another look next time I get to the shop. So just a 3-issue series where they kind of put the two characters together. Ed the Happy Clown, issue number 3 of 9 from Drawn and Quarterly. Number 2 of 9. and number 1 of 9 from Drawn and Quarterly and Mr. Chester Brown. That's the reprint stuff that they did single issue wise. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the screen. I don't know if there was any comments. I'm not ignoring you. I just wasn't paying attention. All right, that's it. ESPers, if you see it, get into it. If you see Doll, give it a shot. And if you ever run across, as that art calling process intrigues me, yeah, for sure. Okay, well maybe I'll open one up. We'll have a quick look. Because I was just gonna say, if you ever see any Ms. Tree, honestly, just give it a shot. It's really, really great. Yeah, I read the collection and then I was into a couple of the issues. Let's crack this one open here. I was into a couple of the issues and I'm really loving it. She's a great character, written really well. Not quite a Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry type of character, but she is along those lines, and from what I've read about what comes up later on, maybe in these kind of issues, some of the things that she tackles in the comic, her affinity to guns and violence, I'm looking forward to it. So is this now just a black? Oh no, there you go. So there's the one kind of with the mint green type of color. Now let's see if we get to, there we go, there's some pages there. Really, really great effect. Very impressive. I'm curious to read the backstory about that. I'm assuming we're going to get some of that in the letters pages or the back matter for these books. And then we get almost like a newspaper type strip in the back. Ms. Tree, the other cheek. So yeah, that's kind of the style that you're looking at right there. It's just a clean line, and that just one color shot really gives it a nice noirish type of feel. Let's open up another one here, and I'll show you a sample of the other ones. I think this one might be a red. We'll find out here. Oh no, it's okay. So not as still great, but not as kind of dramatic as some of the other ones. But that's a look at that issue there. I'm not sure which issue this started on, but probably around here. So let's have a look at one more, if you're still with me. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. There's the blue. So it's just so beautiful. I love it. I really love it. I'm really looking forward to getting into the rest of these. Max Collins and Terry Beattie. So 1985 we're looking at here. There you go. There's a little taste, Rasa. Yeah, the blue really does, yeah. And then the other ones that have red, it kind of has that same effect. It just kind of really hits you, that look. So, all right, there you go. Thanks very much for watching. Rasa, I hope you're feeling good, and we'll talk to you all later. Take it easy.